Hi guys, today I wanted to talk to you about organization in your business. So if time is money, then organization is investments. Hey, I like that. So for the majority of us, if we are sole business owners, entrepreneurs, even if we're working in smaller group type settings, we can all agree that organization is so important. Having actual organization and processes in place that help you get from point A to point B is a lot better than trying to scramble and figure things out all the time, especially if you're relaying messages to people that are not employees. If you have freelance workers that come on or contracted workers that you take on for certain portions of your work, it is just so much easier to be able to explain to them anything if you are organized. So I've kind of come up with a few different tips of things that I do that really help me stay organized in my photography business, and hopefully they translate to you, whatever business you are in. So my first tip for you is to stay glued to your calendar. For me, I'm a service provider, so the minute that I book a client, their date goes into my calendar. If I am scheduling a lunch with somebody or a networking event or anything, I put it in my calendar. So I'm not really down with this whole calendar blocking thing. I mean, I love it in theory, I just haven't implemented it at all into my business yet. But I definitely am glued to my calendar. My day is different every single day. My weeks are completely different depending if I have a wedding on the weekend or if I'm doing some sort of a portrait session throughout the week. Anything can be different at any particular time. So if I don't have those things listed in my calendar, I will have absolutely no organization in my life. I am the only person that works in my business, and honestly, it's not acceptable. If I were to drop the ball and miss something, I'm missing out on possibly income for that particular month or that particular year. If I blow something really big, I mean, honestly, I could, there could be a lawsuit if I don't show up to somewhere where I need to. So you definitely want to be mindful of all of the obligations that you have, list them in your calendar, and you can go as far as listing anything extra. So for me, generally what I like to do is I have different colors on my calendar where it might be personal things, like if my husband and I are going out of town for a weekend or if I have a doctor's appointment. Then I have different color blocked for different sessions. So if I am photographing a wedding, if I'm photographing a portrait session or an engagement session, those will have different color blocks in my calendar. And then I will also do a third color for things that I need to take care of in my business, but that aren't necessarily time sensitive. I take my calendar one step further and I do actual weekly planning. So I'm not too sure how you guys will be able to see this. This is a weekly calendar that I fill out every single week. It has Monday through the weekend and it's just a 1 week only. I will refer back to my calendar, my digital calendar, specifically at this one point on Sunday nights. I will prepare my week Monday through the next Sunday, and I will jot everything on this calendar. I will make sure that I am noting any arrangements that I have with lunches, with events, with photographing. If I have an editing turnaround time, I will list that on a particular day. Just anything that is almost too little to note on my Google Calendar or on my digital calendar, but it's still something that needs to get done. So I will handwrite it. Just for me, sometimes only seeing that 1 week in front of me will really help me get a grasp on what I need to do. Also, let's say hypothetically, like I do this particular week coming up, I have a wedding on Saturday. So I can already prepare for, okay, I have a wedding on Saturday, which means that on Thursday I will need to prepare my gear, I will need to clean off my camera cards, make sure everything's ready to go. Friday I will make sure I'm double checking the weather, that I've printed out my schedule. So different things like that, things that you normally might not see in black and white, I put them there right in front of me so I can better prepare just to lead up to a more successful weekend, because the majority of my busy times are on the weekends since I'm a wedding photographer. My third tip for you might come with a little resistance, but I'm gonna say it anyway. My recommendation is to clear out your inbox and bring it down to 0. Yeah, I said it. So this is kind of easy for me because when I started my business originally 7 years ago, I made a conscious effort to create a new email address to make sure that email address was on my business card that was connected through Instagram, Facebook, all of my social media streams. And I made a conscious effort not to give it out to people that I didn't want in my email. So what does that mean? That means that if I shop at any particular stores, I'm not giving that email address, anything like that, anything that you normally get that just fills up your email and clogs it up. I don't give my specific business email. So it's either client communications from current clients, client inquiries for hopeful and new clients, maybe people that I'm connected to in networking or business events in some way. So like all of my vendor friends, all of my networking, people that have my business card. And then the only companies or services that I have actually spamming me to some extent are companies that I work with through my business. Different services that I use for outsourcing of editing or for wedding albums. Things like that. So those are the specific companies. The companies that I want to be updated on are the companies that have my business email. So I think this can be really important for you guys. And I know there's a lot of resistance with this, but you really have to think about it in terms of business. 400, 500, 600 emails a day. Look at those. How many of them are you don't even look at anymore, that you don't need? Go in there, make a pointed effort to unsubscribe to these particular companies. I'm going to give you a tiny story here, just a little story. A really good friend of mine who has a super successful wedding planning and floral business here in the Chicagoland area. You know who you are, and I'm sure you're watching. She just recently was out to lunch with me, and we were talking about how the emails come in, that there is a lot of emails that come in on a regular basis. And I told her how I have kind of OCD with my email. I like to bring it back to 0 every day. And she was like, oh yeah, Michelle, I definitely don't do that. And she turned her phone toward me and I saw her app on her phone and I literally got like beads of sweat. Like she showed me there was 85,000 unread emails, like 85,000 unread emails. I almost died. Okay, so I know I have a little bit of OCD, but 85,000 is a lot. And that is such a high number that seems like it's something you're never going to be able to go through. And I totally get it. That seems like she really stopped nurturing that a long time ago. But she made mention of a situation where she had missed an inquiry. Because sometimes, I'm sure all of you have noticed, on your mobile app, sometimes the emails crunch a little bit differently than they do on a desktop. If you take an email and forward it to somebody else, but then reply to the first one, those three are now connected, even though they're separate emails. So she had missed an inquiry, maybe one, I don't know if it was one or multiple emails, where she was potentially risking this loss of customers because she didn't realize that they were kind of clipped into other conversations in her email. And she just didn't see it because she was checking on her phone. So if you feel like you're struggling to keep clients or keeping your clients satisfied, or if you're hearing phrases like, oh, I was hoping to hear back from you sooner, or I'm reaching out to you again because I haven't heard from you, consider just cleaning out your email. My final tip for you is a client management system. I use HoneyBook and I absolutely love HoneyBook. If you're not familiar with HoneyBook, HoneyBook is a system that really, it just kind of pulls together the full client experience. It's kind of like a platform where customers can inquire, the information comes up on there, you can pre-fill in your wedding rates, your contracts, your proposals into HoneyBook. Makes it very convenient to send information back and forth to clients. All emails go back and forth through in there as well. It has a nice calendar where it can tell you if you're booked for a different day. It also has great reminders, which is my absolute favorite thing in the world. All payment systems can be handled through there. It actually has like the ability to sign in a contract as well. So literally almost all of the loose ends of an entire client process can be handled through there. My favorite part of it is the client reminder things about payment. Because for me, for my particular business, generally a final payment for a service is due 2 weeks before the wedding. But I will usually send out a reminder about a month before the wedding to let them know, hey, you have 2 weeks to make this final lump deposit to me before your wedding day. And a lot of times that month before is already into my busy season. So like right now we're in June. I have weddings in July, August, September, October, November, all the way through. I'm focusing on the clients that I have on this particular weekend, or I'm editing the images for the clients that I had last weekend. I'm not necessarily thinking about in 1 month, oh, I will have Jack and Sally's wedding. I need to send them a payment reminder. So it is just one less thing that I have to think about, but I already know and trust that HoneyBook is sending them the reminder, processing the payment, and literally within like 2 or 3 business days, that payment will be sent to my bank account. So it's a wonderful thing to have to just relieve that stress, especially in the busy season. If you are interested in HoneyBook, I would love to answer any questions about that. I have my information below. You can feel free to send me a message or just direct message here. But there also is a link down below where you can get 50% off your first year of HoneyBook. And I think it's a free 2-week trial. So give it a shot, try it out. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not for you. But it has definitely helped me stay organized. So I hope these tips helped you to some extent. Send me a message, drop it down below and let me know. How do you feel about cleaning out your email? Are you gonna do it? Are you not? If you did it already, how did it go? I wanna know all the details. Like this video if you enjoyed it and feel free to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.